Well, you can probably tell the title of this webisode is Wildflowers and Wildlife. And just to show you a little sample of what we're going to be doing, there's a cute little rabbit peering through this hole in the card. And please come play with us. Well, every month we have a brand new collection from hot off the press. And this month, obviously, it's Wildflowers and Wildlife. So we have 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, coordinating solid cardstock. The same 12 by 12 is also in 6 by 6. Now these also have cutouts. There are 108 in the 6 by 6. There are 54 in the 12 by 12. There are also die cuts. There's also chipboard and cutting dies. So wonderful rounded collection. And before we get into the projects that Lene has made, let me show you this 12 by 12 scrapbook page. And this is also on the back of the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, but it's just lovely. And you can see that the wildflowers are all around here, and there's a little wildlife right there, in addition to the wildlife that's in the photographs. You can see they're matted on the solid, and the photos are overlapped onto a piece of the pattern cardstock, as well as they've been placed here. These are the cutouts, and there's some chipboard there that has been colored with, I think probably the ink pads, and just beautifully done. So just want to make sure that you see that. Now let's get into Lene's creations. And we'll start with this card and getting closer so that you can see. And this kind of has a surprise. I guess we need to back out. Yeah, there you go. This has a surprise in that the front has been cut apart. So that's very clever. And let me show you what she used. So here is the sheet. And this is a teal color. And Lene has used a part. So there's, again, the wildflowers and the wildlife. That little raccoon is here. But she turned it over and used this part for the front of her card. But she did cut this 1.5 wide strip out of the center of her card front. So very interesting. And that piece looks like this. So she did use this piece of cardstock to go over her card front. Now you could put the whole sheet there, and I think that's what Lene did, because she had this piece to hand me, and that's the part that she cut out. So you can do it whichever way you want, as 2 pieces or 1 piece. Kind of think 1 piece would be easier. So that's just kind of a tip. Like I said, this piece was 1.5 inches wide, just smack dab out of the center. She did put, and she used the purple collection. This is the only collection that we have in its like this way, although I do have notes of some of our customers who've requested that. So this has got borders, it's got words, it's got thin line dazzles, tiny words and phrases, script dazzles, all together in one package. And you can see that Lene has used the border dazzles, the fancy border dazzles, right at the top and the bottom. Now this is one of the cutouts, and I mentioned that there are over 50 in the package, and she used that very cleverly to kind of span that opening, which I think is a great way. Plus it just makes it easier to open that card. So this has been foam taped, as I said, over those 2 pieces. And then she also went into the chipboard. And actually, before I go there, let me scoot this over. And let me scoot the dazzles over. She also went into our ink pads, and this is the gingerbread. And she uses this on many of the cards and wanted to edge the pattern cardstock. So Lene likes to use the circular tool, the blending tool, as opposed to the blending brush. Certainly it makes no difference. Your personal preference is perfectly fine. You do want to, though, bring out a craft mat to place your card or your project on, then take the tool, dip it into the ink pad, and then just bring it over, starting on the craft mat, and bring it onto your paper. Just that way you're not going to have any marks on your paper that you don't want. It's just going to let you go right along the edge. So she did it on all 4 edges and then did her dazzle. So that worked perfectly. Now again, the gingerbread is going to be used multiple times, and it worked beautifully. Now for the chipboard, and the chipboard looks like this. You saw it in the opening, and you can see lots of the wildflowers. That's really where we highlighted them. And Lene used the tri-blend markers, and there are 3 of them. She used the dull green, the purple, and the dark red. And as you know, there are 3 shades of each of those colors in each of the pens. It's just a great value. And so you can see the purple is what she used on the butterflies, the green obviously on the stems and the leaves, and then the red into some of the flowers. So it just really does a nice job of giving the colors perfectly done. Now you can color them while they are attached to the backing, or you can pop them out and color them, just whatever works best for you. And I recall that there are, let me see, there are 18 pieces on this 5-inch square piece of chipboard, and many people have commented about the excellent quality of the chipboard that we use, so that's nice to know. Now she also knotted a dotted ribbon, and here's that collection of dotted ribbons, and she's used them on a couple of projects here, but it just does a nice job. It's got a soft lavender color. Now I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to go back to that paper. So she used, okay, remember this was the beginning. She flipped it around, but then she turned it over to go on the inside of the card. And our back sides of our papers are always a match to the front, and that just makes it so easy to use. And you can see how pretty that is. And let me just turn it like this, and let me see. I think, yes, there it is. It just turns it like this. So it's pretty from, you can see that little peeking area, and you can see how pretty that is. So another bit of dazzle here, and then we'll go back to our cutouts, and You Are Love fits nicely right there. More of the dusty purple color, another of the chipboard, and it is also colored with the tri-blend markers. So that is our first card. That's a nice style to remember, and I have more for you. Now this card I thought was really fun, and it looks like more is going on, and it's harder to do than it is actually to do. And I've not seen a card like this, so I was really curious, and it looks like there's just so much, but all it is this card front. And what Lene did, let me just push this to the side. So she, for her card front, she cut off a 1/2 inch and then trimmed off a 1/2 inch at the bottom and a 1/2 inch at the top. Easy peasy. And made this little kind of smaller front onto her card. So very, very, very fun. Now, she did a couple of other things that I thought were really surprising, and that was nice to see. So that card front, she took another of the cutouts. So it's this one. There's some smaller cutouts and larger cutouts, and there's the one that she used. And I thought it was interesting because I would have thought that you would mat it on the green like that. But that's not what Lene did. She matted it on the pink there. And you can see it right here. And I thought that was an interesting choice, and I can see why she made it because of her choice for the inside of the card, because again, you are seeing that. It's kind of like the first card. You are seeing some of the inside when you see the front of the card. And I thought that was really telling. So she has matted that, but first she also went into the ink, the pads, with the gingerbread. This time she is using the sponge daubers. Now, this is the collection that she's used. The daubers are going to give you a little more control than the blending tool or even the blending brushes. So because it's a smaller area, it's going to allow you to open your card and do the inking. When you get to the score line, you can just close your card and go like this. Okay, again, you want to put it onto the you know, your craft mat. Okay, so that's what we have going on. Then she has taken the die cuts, and let me bring them here. And we have a couple of things going on. First of all, the patterned paper, patterned cardstock that she used for the inside of her card is right here. It's on the back of this piece. And there you go. Again, it matches. And she has just simply covered that. And I thought it was really fun that she used on the inside of that card, she used this piece and simply let it run the whole piece. But what I really liked was that she kind of did the end of it right there. Very, very clever. And the here's to you, that is on the cutouts. So there it is, right there. Very nice. That worked nicely. Now, she also has on the card front these pieces. So I wanted to tell you about the inside so I could tell you about this piece. So this is another strip of that gingham, and you can see that she has notched it, just cut a little V at each end. And then she used this, and she's foam taped that in the center. So these pinks are all working so nicely together, and you get a little hint of that border, a little peek of that, beautifully done. Now, So Special, that is another of the die cuts right here. That too is foam taped. Just lets it lift a little bit. So beautifully done on the front of it. On the inside here, there is a circle. Now that is used with the circle and scallop cutting dies. And that was done out of the green. That's the green that she did not use, that I thought she might have on the front of her card. So a circle there. And then she did use the tan to die cut out that fox. So let me show you those cutting dies. They are deeply debossed, so that when you die cut them, you're going to see all of that debossing, and it's going to make it easy to do some inking. So she has used multiple colors, and let me bring them for you. So she has used charcoal, which is going to go at the edges, and she's also used the gingerbread and the roasted pumpkin. Again, these daubers are going to make it a little bit easier to bring those colors in. So the roasted pumpkin along the edges, the charcoal in the darker areas. She did get some black cardstock because the eyes are evacuated, so that she put a little bit of cardstock behind the head, so you've got eyes, and it will also evacuate the nose. And so that works out nicely. Although the nose is a separate piece, it's that little nostril is evacuated, so you've got a nose right there. The other thing that works so nicely is our white gel pen. It will work and really show, and that's important. So you can see what she's done, both in the inner ears as well as down below on the muzzle. So that works quite nicely. So that's going to be very, very good. And that takes care of it. So really, really nice on this card. Okay, we're going to go to our next one. And this is a card that is just really fun to make and to receive. And this is done with our bendy card cutting die. It looks like this. and it will stand up. And let me just take it apart. So easy. So it's going to ship like this. And you might be wondering, will it fit into an envelope? And yes, it does. It fits into our 10 envelopes, which works really well. And there are 3 cutting dies. And Lene nicely cut them out separately for me so I could show them to you. And it is just oh so easy. Now, she used them on this piece of printed cardstock. So here's the yellow sheet. And again, the flowers are all around, and there's our wildflowers and our wildlife. And on the back side, it's just an all over, just really pretty pattern. So she has die cut out of the top part of it for the back. And then she really used the flowers, as you can see, for this bottom area, as well as for this piece. And then she put extra sticky tape, this is the 1/4 inch, on the flaps. So there's 2 pieces, there's 2 flaps, and then that gets pulled off, and these get attached behind that center piece. Like I put it on the wrong side. Be careful of that. Okay. Like so. And then there are slits already cut when you die cut it. So this piece is going to slip right in there. And then there's a slit right here, just like that. And you can see how the flowers work so well with the flowers up there, and the all over pattern works so well right there. Now, she did add some dazzles, and this comes from the sheet that's called Lime Green Borders, and this is available separately. You can see it's got some gold foiling, and she added it just at the bottom on all 3 pieces. Different patterns, you can see. And then she took one of the die cuts and foam taped it right there. And then this bow is dotted on. It too comes from the dotted ribbon. So the dotted ribbon she felt worked really well with the wildflowers and wildlife. And then on the back of this, often when you get a card like this, you're thinking, okay, so where am I going to put my message? Well, we have an answer for you. It goes right on the back. And again, she did want to add something there, so she added one of the die cuts. So this is foam taped, and I thought it was clever that she did a little tab of the ribbon underneath it, just to add a little bit of other color and to go more with the green dazzles down at the bottom. So it just worked really nicely. And there you go, it's all done. So easy and so quick, and yet such a fun, distinctive card to receive and to send. Okay, I've got one more card for you, and here it is. And this is the one I showed you in the beginning. And Lene did a fun thing here, and I thought it was very clever. Now she used, this is from the 6x6 pattern cardstock, and our card is 5 by 6.5. So what are you going to do? Now you could cut the card down and make it a 5 by 6 card. That would be an option. But Lene chose to do something different. She decided to take her card and first cover it with the green solid cardstock. Then she took this piece and glued it in the center of the area. Okay, being sure that she got the little bunny there. Then she found her, or took her, circle and scalloped cutting die. Now, you may be wondering, what am I going to do if I only have a Big Shot or a Gemini Junior, where I've got the cutting die only has a 6-inch wide mouth to put my piece through. And this is 6.5 inches. Okay, so what you're going to do is position your cutting die right here. It's over on the right-hand side, about 1.25 inches from the top. So place it there. You might want to secure it with some low-tack tape. Then put a piece of scrap paper on top of it. Bring the back of your card on top of it. run it through your die cutting machine like this. Obviously this won't be here, okay? Just run it through like that and it will be perfectly fine. All right, so that way you can use any machine you have and you don't have to worry about it. Then you've got your circle, and then you can go back to the same green that you covered your card with and do the scallop and then glue it on top, and that will work perfectly. Now, Lene also used the purple set of dazzles that we had in the beginning, and out of that she chose the thin line purple. I hope you can see that because it's really just a nice little sparkly edge both at the top and at the bottom. And it really brings out kind of the purple that's in the flowers, so that's nice. But of course, the really lovely surprise is that bunny, and that is in our cutting die. And I am frantically looking for it wherever it has hopped to on my table. There it is. Let me bring it in. So the bunny is right here, and the bunny has a separate piece, which is the muzzle. And you can use the muzzle for the bunny. You can use it also, I think it's just for the bunny. Okay, and there's also the flowers that you can add right here, and the sprays of leaves, and that works really well too. But Lene has done a couple of different things, so let me just do this step by step. So the circle that got cut out here, look at the paper. The paper has horizontal lines, but what Lene did is she pulled that circle out and had it run the lines going vertically. It's just a small detail, but I think it just does a nice job of letting you see it differently. And so she's used that to create her little bunny upon. And she did use the tan paper, which I think she's used multiple times in her projects, and that's going to be for her bunny. Then she can use the ink pads and one of the blending tools to add some dimension to her project. She did use the light pink to die cut out the, so there's the tan again, to die cut out the inner ears, also the roses, and then she could go back with the lipstick and do a little bit of edging on the inner ears as well as the roses. So that worked nicely. I thought it was very clever of her on the sprays of foliage. She went in with one of the, let's see, the dark red tri-blend marker and just added some flowers at the end. It just adds a bit of color to those, and I think it works beautifully, so I thought that was really, really smart. She also used that white gel pen. You can see it around the muzzle and around the eyes. Again, the eyes are evacuated, so a little tiny bit of black cardstock glued to the back of that will work perfectly. Now the hello is part of those 108 cutouts that are in the package of 6x6 pattern cardstock. So that worked nicely. So let me scoot this over and show you the inside of this card. She's done something else here. Now on our solid cardstock, we give you a different color on the back side, and Lene has used that to cover the inside of her card. And then she took, you know, you get 4 each of the patterned cardstocks in the 6x6. So on the front of her card, she used it like this with the bunny right here. But on the inside, she scooted it over, didn't use the bunny, and tore this sheet in half and just used half of it down here, or kind of maybe a quarter of it down here, and a quarter of it at the top. Inked those edges to leave room for that little bunny to show inside that evacuated circle. The brighter days are here. Well, that is also, remember in the 12x12 she used this? Well, in the 6x6 she used that little greeting, and glued it, inked the edge and glued it right there. And then this is also part of the Purple Dazzles, just adding a little edge right there. Really, really sweet. Just works so nicely. Okay, those are the cards that I have. Some wonderful tips from Lene, and just really, really sweet, and some unique cards, and I think that's really great. So we have wonderful ideas and some pretty terrific products. So our Wildflowers and Wildlife solid cardstock, 12 by 12 cardstock, 6 by 6 die cuts. I think we've shown you a little bit of every single thing. The chipboard, the cutting dies. Let's see, I think that's all of it. Okay, all of this is available right now. There is a money saver, of course. We would always have a money saver. It is on the right side of your screen. The supplies that Lene used and some of her tips are down below. Just click on each of the 4 cards that she has shared with you. I do want to let you know that if you are interested, we release a brand new collection every single month. If you are interested in getting them and interested in saving some money, we have a deal for you. If you are interested in getting everything except the cutting dies, it's called I Want It All. Now you will save 20%. That's not a bad savings off the entire collection. Plus you will receive them before we do the webisode. Why is that a good deal? Well, it's 20%, number one, but it's also that all of these have ideas on the back of them. So you're going to get 6 ideas to get you started. Now, if you really want the cutting die, we have another thing for you. The subscription is called I Really Want It All. Same idea, 20% off, but this time you're going to get 7 ideas. You will get it before we have the webisode. And again, you're going to save 20%. So if that is of interest, either one of them, they are also on the right side of your screen. So we have a lot of things going for you, a lot of ideas available. Excuse me. If you're watching this on YouTube, we hope that you will come on over to paperwishes.com. Let us know if you like all of this, and we hope that you will subscribe on YouTube. We hope that you'll leave a message, and we hope that you'll join us. We'd love to have you, and I want to thank Lene for doing just an absolutely great job, giving us lots of ideas and lots of creativity. And I want to thank you for being the very best part of paperwishes.com. Bye-bye.